The ending of The Adventures of Sinbad was nothing short of absolutely phenomenal. It's rare to find a manga series or anime that's good, but it's actually even rarer to find one that has a great ending. The Adventures of Sinbad is one of those rare manga that has a rare, great ending as well. And today I will be explaining why that's the case. And be sure to subscribe for more Magi content, because I have a ton on the channel and I plan to make a ton more in the future. So yeah. Now the very first topic that I'm going to talk about is the actual arc themselves, because they were absolutely superb. Now, before I even talk about anything else in great detail, I think it's important to discuss just how amazing the final arcs were. The Syndra War arc was easily, and I mean very easily, one of the best arcs in the whole Magi franchise. That is what a true war arc should be like in any manga. This is what a true war arc should be like in any manga, anime, or even TV show. This isn't just some big fights for funs and laughs. This is a true bloody battle. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers and civilians, there's dying, fear, terror, and it's being spread throughout the battlefield. It's pure and utter chaos in every sense of the word. And most importantly than all, there are many main characters, or who are part of the main cast, who die in the war. And that is something that many manga and anime fail to grasp or realize. Too many times have I read a story that plays war to be very light-hearted, or there being no major consequences at all, such as an important character dying. You can see that by the end of the war, the deaths hold such great importance and impact to the characters in the Syndra arc. And a quick example I want to bring up is the One Piece arc of the Marineford. The thing that made Marineford great was that there were consequences, that there was the death of Ace and Whitebeard, and it was bloody. If there wasn't those two deaths, that war would, I guarantee this, it would not have been as great as it was. And that is something that many, and I mean many other One Piece arcs lack. Now back to Magi. Beside all the fantastic and realistic writing choices, the battles themselves are something else entirely. Reading this week to week, I was just so excited reading the battles, and not only the battles themselves, but the greater themes of the arc as well. And I've been smiling talking about it because I remember reading it week to week. It was something else entirely. The theme of believing in who you are, no matter how great you fail. This is what we saw when Falan tried to break Sinbad and bring him into depravity, to which he failed, of course. The theme of being able to accept your failures and losses, and moving forward from them, learning and growing from those mistakes rather than sulking and giving up. And the theme of accepting your responsibility as a leader, as a king, as well as the burden that comes along with it. I could probably make a 20-minute video just discussing the themes of this series, or even the final arc itself, or even the one Syndra arc, but I'd rather not waste any more time on this point, as that's not the main focus of this video. The other mini arcs were also just perfect. I feel like I'm praising the series a bit too much, but it's just so rare for a series to have such a perfect ending that I really just can't help but gush over it. And now I'm going to be talking about the second topic, the insane foreshadowing and the link to Magi itself as a series. The Adventures of Sinbad is by far the greatest spin-off series, dare I say, that exists in any form of entertainment, and I do not mince my words lightly. As anyone who's watching this channel or knows me, I'm very harsh and critical when it comes to writing. Too many shows and manga have just messed up their series of poor writing, but The Adventures of Sinbad is just wow, right? It's just does not mess it up. That's all I can say. Its ending is so good, it makes the original Magi's ending just look plain bad in comparison. I'm actually someone who really likes the ending of the original Magi, so I think that says quite a lot. Now, enough of me just wanking off the manga, and let me actually explain why I believe all this. So first off, it's an important note to say that this is a spin-off manga, not a standalone manga, which I know is obvious, right? But it's a very important detail to realize when I'm making this video. The main point of a manga, or at least a spin-off manga, is to support and elevate the original series. That's what a spin-off series is. That's what it's supposed to do. It's there to provide greater context to the story of the original series and to enrich the world of the original source material. And I have never seen a spin-off manga elevate its original source so much. Now, let me make a very brief list of why the manga excels in this aspect. So the first mini point from this list is the world building. The Adventures of Sinbad expands the Magi world so much, just so much. We do not only travel to many different countries, many varying different countries, but we also spend a tremendous amount of time in each country and learn about their cultures in much depth. In the point of enriching and expanding the world of Magi, The Adventures of Sinbad hits the ball out of the park with that. And the second mini point, I guess I want to say, is the foreshadowing and context that this provides to Magi itself. The Adventures of Sinbad greatly, and I mean greatly, provides context on things that happen in Magi that we know little about. It expands on Maho manipulation. It even expands on the politics of the countries, the fusing of a dead person's raw into a living person. And also, this goes into how David is inside Sinbad's body and why he's there in the final arc. The list would be too long if I were to say just how many things it explains, foreshadows, expand upon. It is many, many things. Not only does it explain all these things, but also foreshadows many of the events that happens in Magi, just as Sinbad wanting to create a perfect world without wars, which we see in the final few chapters, or the imbalance of Maho, which we also see that happens to Sinbad after he fuses with David, or even David himself, how he's involved in the final story. Because if you just read Magi, it would be it would seem like bad writing on how David is inside Sinbad, but if you read the adventures of Sinbad as well, only then would you realize how great the writing is. And the third point is that it loops back and just fits perfectly with the original Magi. And I mean, it fits together so well, it's like chocolate and ice cream. It is just perfect. It complements the original series so much that it actively and objectively makes the original Magi light years better than it already was, which is exactly the point and what you want your spin-off manga to do. I mean, if you read those final chapters, especially the last one of David, it's just genius on how it just sets up the final saga of Magi, not just the final arc, the whole saga when Alibaba comes back. Now, my third big point is why the high praise is deserved. As I've said before, all of this praise that I give to the Adventures of Sinbad is of its nature and role as a spin-off series. Don't get me wrong, it's still a very great series, even as a standalone, but that's not the purpose of this story, not even in the slightest. And it's extremely clear and obvious that the purpose of this story is to help the original Magi itself. And that's what I mean when I say there's no spin-off series like it. Sure, there are plenty of series that are easily, and I mean far better written than Magi or The Adventures of Sinbad. And there are even some spin-off series that are better made than The Adventures of Sinbad as standalones. But if we're talking about spin-offs and what the purpose of a spin-off is, then there is no greater spin-off that does a better job than The Adventures of Sinbad. I mean, hey, maybe there is, and I haven't heard of it. You could let me know in the comments. But at least of the ones that I've read, they've been good, the spin-offs, but they never do what a spin-off is meant to do, or they do not exceed or do well in it as well as The Adventures of Sinbad does. If that makes any sense, I hope you guys get what I'm saying. But yeah, this story, man, those final chapters were just so nice to read. It's very rare for a great series of any kind, be it manga, anime, comics, movies, TV shows, to have just as great as an ending as the stories are. But this is one of those rare cases where it truly did live up to the greatness of its own story. And that's the end of the video. I hope you guys like this one. I know a lot of people have been asking for Sinbad and David related videos, so I thought I'd make this one. It's more centered towards Sinbad, but I did talk about David, so, you know, two birds with one stone. I'm not quite sure what to make my next Magi video on, so be sure to leave any suggestions in the comments down below. It gives me a good idea of what people want. So let's say, for example, you want a video series on a character, or if you want a topic or a discussion on a certain point of Magi. So let me know about that. And be sure to subscribe for more content like this if you enjoyed the video, because there is a ton of it on the channel. And yeah, that's pretty much all for today. I hope you guys like this one, and be sure to have a lovely day too. And I'll see you guys next time.